Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a Genevan philosopher, writer, and composer of the 18th century Romanticism of French expression. His philosophy influenced the French Revolution and the development of modern political, sociological, and educational thought. Rousseau was born in Geneva. Since 1536, Geneva had been a Huguenot republic and in the seat of Calvinism. Rousseau was proud that his family, of the middle class, had voting rights in the city. Throughout his life, he generally signed his books, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Citizen of Geneva. Geneva was governed democratically by its male voting citizens. Rousseau's father, Isaac Rousseau, was a watchmaker who was well educated and a lover of music. Rousseau's mother, Suzanne, was the daughter of a Calvinist preacher. She died of perpetual fever 9 days after his birth. He and his older brother, Francois, were brought up by their father and paternal aunt, also named Suzanne. When Rousseau was 10, his father, an avid hunter, got into a legal quarrel with a wealthy landowner whose lands he had been caught trespassing. To avoid certain defeat, he moved away to Nyon, in the territory of Bern, taking Rousseau's aunt Suzanne with him. He remarried, and from that point Jean-Jacques saw little of him. Jean-Jacques was left with his maternal uncle, who packed him along with his own son Abraham away to board for 2 years with a Calvinist minister outside Geneva. Here Rousseau picked up the mathematics and drawing and dreamed of becoming a Protestant minister. Since his father and uncle had disowned him, the teenage Rousseau supported himself as a servant, secretary, and tutor, wandering in Italy and France. Rousseau had been an indifferent student, but in his 20s he applied himself to study philosophy, mathematics, and music. At 27, he took a job as a tutor in Lyon. In 1742, Rousseau moved to Paris in order to present the Académie des Sciences with a new system of musical notation he believed would make his fortune. His system was based on a single line displaying numbers representing intervals between notes and dots and commas, indicating rhythmic values. Believing this system was impractical, the Academy rejected it and urged him to try again. Returning to Paris, Rousseau became the lover of Therese, a seamstress who was the sole support of her mother and her many siblings. According to his book Confessions, before she moved in with him, Therese bore him a son and as many as 4 other children, but urged her to give them up. When Rousseau became celebrated as a theorist of education and child-rearing, his abandonment of his children was used by his critics. In 1749, Rousseau was paying daily visits to Dirac, who had been thrown into the fortress of Vincennes for his opinions that hinted at materialism, a belief in atoms, and natural selection. Rousseau had read about an essay competition sponsored by the Academy of Dijon to be published on the theme of whether development of the arts and sciences had been morally beneficial. He wrote that while walking, he had a revelation that the sciences and arts were responsible for the moral degeneration of mankind, who were basically good by nature. Rousseau had originally intended to answer this in a conventional way, but his discussions convinced him to propose the paradoxical negative answer that catapulted him into the public eye. Rousseau's 1750 discourse on the arts and sciences was awarded first prize and gained him significant fame. Rousseau also continued his interest in music. Rousseau composed an opera in the year 1762, his masterpiece, The Social Contract, which attempted to solve the problem by posing his open sentence. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in change. He presented his social contract by which the citizen surrenders his rights and positions to the general will, which is undivided and must necessarily aim at the impartial good. If a man acts against the general will, he must, in Rousseau's words, be forced to be free. With its slogan, liberty equality, fraternity. It became the Bible of the French revolutionaries. The political philosophy of the social contract was much admired.